What's going on, people? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, I'm early. I'm early. Hope they prepared, huh? Better known as Get Back Fire, Keep It Richie Rich. What's going on? Old dude and everybody else have not said anything in the chat, but is listening in. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go back over a lot of these different things. We're going to get back into our law and order. All right. So we're going to go back over this Carmelo thing, and I'm doing this for the last time. It's just too much going on here. Too much going on here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over all these different instances. We're going to get into the, let's get back into our law and order. We're going to start focusing more on remedy, repair and restore, and different aspects of it. We're gonna cover from different angles. The only reason why I focus on mortgages is because it's the biggest thing. It's one of the biggest money makers. So that's why we're gonna focus on mortgages. What's going on, Derek? So that's what we're gonna do. But you know what we're gonna do first. We're gonna run down this. We're gonna run down StreamYard Boulevard. So let's get it going. Let's get it going. Appreciate everybody being here. Let's go.
Money. You buy a house, and if you don't pay them back, they take it. Simple. But when you actually start... Did you guys know that your bank isn't allowed to do business with you? Sounds crazy, right? Because we've all been told the same story. You go to the bank, they lend you money, you buy a house, and if you don't pay them back, they take it. Simple. But when you actually start digging into how these institutions are structured, something strange pops up. The company on your mortgage paperwork usually isn't just a regular neighborhood bank. A lot of them are bank holding companies or financial affiliates, operating under federal laws written for large financial institutions and international banking activity. That means the entity involved in your mortgage may not even be functioning like the kind of bank people imagine. These companies are part of massive corporate structures. Money moves through holding companies, trusts, and financial affiliates. Your mortgage can be sold, transferred, securitized, and moved through multiple entities. By the time someone shows up saying the bank is enforcing the mortgage, it might actually be a financial company several layers removed from the original transaction. And once you start looking at how that structure works, you realize the simple story we were all told about mortgages isn't really the whole picture. Did you guys know that your bank isn't allowed to do business with you? Sounds crazy, right?
All right, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be providing some of these videos so that way, you know, my voice doesn't become redundant. You see what I'm saying? And what I'm saying, I want you to hear it from other people because that's just what it is. Now, I know this sounds like crazy, and I know you guys want to hear this again. So you say, wait, is that what I heard? Is that what I heard? Yeah, that's what you heard. But I'm going to play it again for you and just take it in from the perspective as it's given. You see what I'm saying? Just take it from the perspective that it's given. Now, mind you, all this stuff he's saying, or that's probably an AI or whatever, but whoever put that together, it's legal. It's not illegal to do it. It is legal. And I'm going to show you some codes so you guys can understand that it's legal. The thing that's not I would say legal is the disclosures, right? So consumer law was put in place to protect the rights of the people based on the new system that was being brought in. As I've said before, 1930 and the 1918s, right? Right before they was getting prepared during World War I. And then they brought in the Federal Reserve, and they started bringing in all these birth certificates. They started bringing in all the Social Security. All this stuff started coming in because this was a system that they wanted to function under moving forward, because they could not function under the old way of doing things, under the old system as it was. That old system was ran by and controlled by the indigenous people. In order for them to maintain some autonomy or be able to execute properly, they had to come in with fiat. How do I say this? Fiat things. Let me say it like that. They had to come in with fiat things. All right. Amongst other issues, but the main important thing, they had to come up with fiat things in order to maintain and sustain the United States. Didn't work. But this is why they had to do what they did after, you know what I'm saying, in the last, I would say, 12 years, 4-8-12. It's gotten way out of control. But in 1918, I think that's when the start of World War I was going on. Don't quote me on that. 1920, 21, 22, 23, 24, you know what was happening in the so-called black towns, or these indigenous. Well, we know now that these people were actually indigenous towns that were functioning within the United States, doing business with the United States, and then got bombed. And then after that, you had the Great Depression. Then after that, you had the New Deal. Then after that, then gold and silver were no longer in the public in the continental United States, was being utilized to pay debts, which then made the United States liable for all debts, public and private. That's what happened, because the United States then decided to be the constitutor of government instead of the people being the constitutor of government. So then, with that in mind, they had no choice but to take liability for all debts, public and private. Because if they didn't, it would have been treason. They had to give us a remedy, or the people at that time. They had to give the people at that time a remedy based on the fact that they brought in the Federal Reserve Central Bank to control the government, the money changing, the interest rates, all that stuff, right? So once the Federal Reserve Bank came in, it now had more power than the United States Treasury. But it got worse from there. See what I'm saying? That's why Trump had to go over there and go bring back all that gold and all them artifacts. Had to go over there. You know where there is? All right. Do your research. All right. Let's listen to it again. You know, I got to get my monologue in. Let's go.
Did you guys know that your bank isn't allowed to do business with you? Sounds crazy, right? Because we've all been told the same story. You go to the bank. They lend you money. You buy a house. And if you don't pay them back, they take it. Simple. But when you actually start digging into how these institutions are structured, something strange pops up. The company on your mortgage paperwork usually isn't just a regular neighborhood bank. A lot of them are bank holding companies or financial affiliates, operating under federal laws written for large financial institutions and international banking activity. That means the entity involved in your mortgage may not even be functioning like the kind of bank people imagine. These companies are part of massive corporate structures. Money moves through holding companies, trusts, and financial affiliates. Your mortgage can be sold, transferred, securitized, and moved through multiple entities. By the time someone shows up saying the bank is enforcing the mortgage, it might actually be a financial company several layers removed from the original transaction. And once you start looking at how that structure works, you realize the simple story we were all told about mortgages isn't really the whole picture. Did you guys know that your bank isn't allowed to do business with you? Sounds crazy, right? Because we've all been told the same.
Let you know I'm here. Let me show you something. All right. So right here, you got Title 26 of the Internal Revenue Code. Okay. Got Title 26 of the Internal Revenue Code. Make sure my screen is sharing. My screen sharing? Nope. Hold on. Let's move it back up here. Let's go over here to the side. There we go. All right. So let me make sure. Yeah, now we share. All right. So this is Title 26. Okay. Title 26. We're going to come down here to Subtitle A. This is sections, chapter 1 through 6. We're going to go to normal taxes and surtaxes. What we're going to do here is we're going to go to subchapter M, regulated investment companies and real estate investment trusts. Now, when he said that they're turning it over and they're turning it over and they're signing it to all these different people, right? It's because it's a hot potato. More importantly, it's contraband, low key. It's contraband. All right. So what are these things? Regulated investment companies and real estate investment trusts. Now, when we come here, we're going to go to 856, real estate investment trust. We're going to go to 856 right here, and we're going to go down to E. Just going to come down to E real quick once you get you a clear understanding of what E says. See how long this is? That's why it's very important. When you see them this long, you know it's important. Very important. Look, I'm still scrolling. There we go. We on E. All right, it says special rules for foreclosure property. I need you to listen closely here. Listen closely here. All right, so what it says, I think I can reach. Okay, so it says foreclosure property defined. Now, this is foreclosure property. Now, we know foreclosure, and we're dealing with houses, right? Housing. mortgage loans, right? When a foreclosure happens, that means that the bank is selling the house, right? Selling the house, the land, and everything because you didn't pay, because I didn't pay a debt. Let's go with me, because I didn't pay a debt, or I didn't pay a loan, and it was after 90 days became accounts receivable, and they went ahead and foreclosed on it. They created corporate assignment of deed of trust, even though the bank that is doing the foreclosure was not there in the beginning in regards to the transaction on the mortgage. If anybody wants to challenge that, anybody that has a mortgage or anybody that you know have a mortgage, ask them if they're paying the same bank that they initially got the loan with. And let me know. All right. Usually that thing is sold within 9 months. Sometimes, depending, like if it's a credit union, it might be held for a little bit. It might be held for at least 3 years. Like that's why if you're going to do any type of mortgages, the best thing to do is do it with a credit union, because usually they keep the note in-house. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you check with the state to see who is approved, who is licensed, insured, and bonded to service home mortgage loans in your state. Those are the ones you want to deal with. More importantly, you also want to know the banks that are that are getting community reinvestment funds. That's under Community Reinvestment Act. You want that as well. You also want the ones that actually are HUD approved banks. FHA, Fair Housing Act, Fair Housing Administration, Housing and Urban Development. All right. Those are the people that you want to make sure you have. That way, you know, yeah, you got better action. Now, back to this. Special rules for foreclosure property. Foreclosure property defined. For purposes of this part, the term foreclosure property means any real property, including interest in real property, and any personal property incident to such real property acquired by the real estate investment trust as the result of such trust having bid in such property at foreclosure, or having otherwise reduced such property. Wow. Every time I start talking about this stuff, boy. Reduce such property to ownership or possession by agreement or process of law. After there was default, or default was imminent. Now, what does imminent mean, right? Imminent. About to occur, impending, threatening to occur immediately, near at hand, impending, said especially of misfortune or peril, full of danger, threatening, menacing, perilous. So that's imminent. So foreclosure was imminent, or default was imminent, right? So it says, let's go back up here. So, you know, it's read cleanly. It said, let's start from in any personal property incident to such real property, and any personal property incident to such real property acquired by the real estate investment trust. Now let's click on interest in real property. What does this mean? For purpose of this part, the term value means with respect to securities for which market quotations are readily available, the market value of such securities, and with respect to other securities and assets. Fair value as determined in good faith by the trustees, except that in the case of securities of real estate investment trust, such fair value shall not exceed market value or outset value, whichever is higher. Now, when we go through here, you will not see anything that deals with land until you get to C. Now let's go to C. It says the term interest in real property includes fee ownership and co-ownership of land or improvements thereon, leaseholds of land or improvements thereon, options to acquire land or improvements thereon, and options to acquire leaseholds of land or improvements thereon, but does not include mineral, oil, or gas, royalty, or interest. Now, you remember when I showed you the Schedule B. Remember when I showed you Schedule B, right? Showed you Schedule B. And I'm pulling it up right now. Fee ownership, right? Where in the previous one that I showed, that fee ownership is well, I say fee ownership applies to the bank. Because remember, the name that was on that Schedule B of that title insurance policy in that preliminary title report was actually the individual that I had blacked out. They had interest in the land or estate in fee simple, and the owner of the land in fee simple. So right here it says the term interest in real property includes fee ownership. Okay, so that is the individual, not the bank, and co-ownership of land or improvements thereon. So is that the bank? Is the bank co-owner of the land? Hopefully you guys are with me on this. I already showed you what real property is. Real deals with land. But at no point in time that I showed in the examples that I had redacted, even in the notice of trustee sale, even in the notice of default, even in the trustee's deed upon sale, land was never mentioned, real or otherwise. It was only property. So if this real estate investment trust or whoever is servicing the loan, because this is where the deception come in as well, that I haven't got to yet. If the trust is the owner, it has co-ownership, right? Because maybe they might be the underwriter, but it would actually show you. I'm going to show you a trust, and I'm going to show you when those things are created. They're created when these mortgages go out in that year, because they will give the year. Whew, man, one of them days, ain't it? So now, it says this real estate investment trust. And remember what we have a deed of trust. So in that deed of trust, that trust is created. Is that the real estate investment trust where the actual purchaser of the land and the dwelling on top is actually the one that created the real estate investment trust through their endorsement? It's just a question. Because how was this thing created? All right. So now we know what interest in real property means. So that means that the interest in real property, belongs to the owner, as it in fee. Let me show you something here. Let me show you. I'm gonna use my whole entire screen. Right here. You see? The estate or interest in the land hereinafter described or referred to covered by this report is a fee or fee simple. Title to said estate or interest in that land at the date hereof is vested in that person. Up here is the bank, right? So it says this company has been informed that the loan policy requested in connection with the herein contemplated transaction will have a liability in the amount of such dollars to and or successor in ownership and any other successor in ownership and the indebtedness secured by this insured mortgage. So is this what we would consider to be co-ownership? Where'd it go? Will this be considered to be the fee ownership, the person, just excuse the word person, the living man or woman that's on there, and co-ownership? So this co-ownership, so you got fee ownership, as we saw on the Schedule B, and then we got co-ownership. So if we're talking about co-ownership, then we're talking about the bank. But why would they say foreclosure is imminent? Why would they use that term, meaning that it's already in default? That company, that was a different one. That was a credit union on there. So it was different. They held it. I think the refi was done in 2017? Let me see real quick. Yeah, 2017. So they kept this Schedule B has nothing to do with the other part, which was the foreclosure, those defaults and all that I showed you. This doesn't have anything to do with that. There's another one, but I'm just showing you this Schedule B because the other one says the same thing. Now, we have just found how this works. The bank becomes a co-owner of the land or improvements thereon, leaseholds of lands or improvements thereon, options to acquire land or improvements thereon. Co-owner through that title insurance, because that title insurance talks about the land. Now, let's go back. All right. So, for purposes of this part, the term foreclosure property means any real property, including interest in real property, and any personal property incident to such real property. Acquired, that's just like the dwelling on top. Acquired by the real estate investment trust as the result of such trust having bid in such property at foreclosure. Or having otherwise reduced such property to ownership or possession by agreement or process of law after there was default. So if you're saying there's a notice of default, you got 90 days to pay. After that 90 days, on the 91st day, it becomes accounts receivable. They then take out a claim on that policy. The trust then buys it, the debt back. This is why I always say it reverts back to the beneficiary. If there's no purchase at the auction, it reverts back to the beneficiary. The beneficiary is that real estate investment trust that was created. Now, this is my own extras I'm putting into it. That was created once that deed of trust was endorsed and signed by the owner, the fee owner, or the owner in fee simple. All right. Now, let's get down here. Now it says such term does not include property acquired by the real estate investment trust as a result of indebtedness arising from the sale or other disposition of property of the trust described in section 1221A1, which was not originally acquired as foreclosure property. Now let's hit foreclosure property. What is that? What is that? You guys want to take a snapshot of this? I'm just going to highlight it. Okay. Now, what are we talking about? What is going on here? Now, let me read. For purposes of this subsection A, acquisition at expiration of lease, the term foreclosure property shall include any qualified health care property acquired by a real estate investment trust as the result of the termination of a lease of such property, other than termination by reason of a default or the imminence of a default on the lease. Grace period in the case of qualified healthcare property, which is foreclosure property solely by reason of subparagraph A. Do I need to read any more? Do I need to read any more? Did you see SFR in there? Did you see 1 to 4 units in there? I don't think you did. And it damn sure didn't come out my mouth. Guys gotta listen. Listen to me. Listen. This ain't hard. All I did is click a button. All right. We good? All right. Let's get back to the streams, man. Let's get back to the streams. Y'all gonna learn something one of these days. And we're not done with that. I just want to focus on that part, but we're going to talk about these assignments another time. Let's go.
Doesn't need to police blackness in America. And throughout history, we have witnessed white supremacy provide the audacity and unmitigated gall of not only white people, but other minority groups to dictate our lives, mind our business, provide input where it's not needed, but most of all, police our bodies and existence.
Is the phrase touch me and see what happens AAVE? To answer this question, I reached out to Professor John Rickford. He is a linguistics professor at Stanford University, and his expertise is in AAVE. So when I emailed him and I asked him, do you consider this phrase AAVE because of the recent media attention of the Carmelo-Anthony case? And he responded in short, no. There is no hidden meaning behind the phrase touch me and see what happens. It just means if you lay your hands on someone, you can expect someone to lay their hands back on you. None of us. I'm not an expert in anything.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
One of the ways this manifests is discrediting the achievements, creations, and culture of Black people while simultaneously colonizing and gentrifying our culture and creations. Then in the same breath saying they discovered this new cool thing, food, style, or lingo that we have been using for decades, if not a century. We all see it happen every day online. A phrase born in a Black household or on a specific block in Harlem or from Atlanta gets picked up by TikTok and labeled Gen Z slang and completely flattened into corporate aesthetic. It's called digital gentrification. And usually the worst consequence is just a bunch of non-Black people using words like fitna, child, unk, deadass, or cap in sentences that make absolutely no linguistic sense. Do not be a member of an ethnic group or live within its culture and try to dictate what our dialect of English means by going to a professor who also isn't within that ethnic group or culture. To tell Black people we don't know what our own language means isn't just a bold, grotesque showcase of elitism. It shows you have built-in racism, that you think Black people aren't as smart as you. As an Asian American, it's very telling of the inner workings of this country that you believe you have the authority to speak on Black culture to disprove the bias and understanding of racism embedded within the judicial system. But reaching out to a Guyanese man who isn't Black American as the authority on our culture as some sort of gotcha makes you look, quite frankly, like an idiot. Let's talk about Carmello-Anthony, a 17-year-old Black kid in Texas who was sentenced to 35 years in prison after a physical altercation at an opposing school. During that confrontation, cornered in a tent, outnumbered, being told to leave, Anthony said a phrase that almost every Black person in America knows by heart: touch me again and see what happens. Now, if you understand AAVE, if you understand the dialect, the culture, the centuries behind it, you know exactly what that means. That's not an invitation to a fight. That's not instigating. That's a hard defensive boundary marker, the same kind of coded precision Black language has carried since slavery. A way to name danger without naming it outright. It means I am protecting my physical space. Do not violate me first. In a Collin County courtroom in front of a jury with 0 Black members, the state did something insidious. They took a phrase born out of someone's community's language of survival, stripped it of its cultural meaning, and translated it through an outsider lens. To the prosecution, touch me again and see what happens wasn't a warning to prevent a fight. It was the threat. They argued Anthony provoked the violence. And under Texas law, if you provoke the conflict, your legal right to claim self-defense is stripped away. Think about how insane that is. Outsiders who have never lived the culture standing in a courtroom telling Black people what their own dialect means. But to understand why any of this matters, you have to understand where the language actually came from. AAVE didn't appear out of nowhere. It is not broken English. It's the direct descendant of enslaved Black people stripped of their native languages and forced to build a new one out of survival. Different West and Central African language groups were thrown together on plantations specifically to prevent communication and rebellion. And what came out of that was a fusion. English vocabulary running on African grammatical structure. That's creolization.
All right, we're going to stop right there. You didn't took it too far, buddy. You didn't took it too far, buddy. But we get the point. We get the point.
Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact, or Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Fact.
Attorney of fact. Well, what does that mean?
You know, his authorization to legal record.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name?
This tool is called Due Process Defender. It will teach you how to find due process violations and actually win your case. Courts run on due process. They don't run on nonsense. I've went into court with right to travel arguments in previous videos. The judge liked my arguments and he let me win. That's what happened, because he didn't have to let me win, but he did. It's in my videos. But it still is a waste of my time because I was doing it wrong. That's the truth. Due process is the way to learn and the way to fight and the way to educate yourself on what your rights are. It's all about due process. This particular tool is called Due Process Defender. It will help you fight any litigation situation. Did the cop beat you up? Does your HOA violate your rights? Any single thing, this particular tool can help you the right way. This particular gentleman is using power of attorney, misapplying power of attorney. Let me show you.
He sure is. Man, he's way out of pocket.
So we asked this tool to break it down. You always cross-reference everything, which I already do. You do not need power of attorney to act for yourself. Why? Because you are the real party in interest. You already have the inherent legal capacity. Courts recognize your right to appear pro se on your own behalf. This is a fundamental due process principle. That is what courts run on. Due process. So you either appear pro se as yourself or through a licensed attorney. That is the other way. There is no third category where you appoint yourself. If somebody says, I created a POA to represent myself, that collapses legally because there is no separation of parties. You cannot be both the principal and the agent. Principal is the one who created it. The agent is who's acting on behalf in a way that creates no new authority. It creates.
Okay, so case law on that is Trinsey, Trinsey, V, or versus Pagliaro, Pagliaro. Now, as he's saying that, because he's focused on that guy, same goes for the attorneys. You cannot be, right? There is no separation of parties. You cannot be both principal and agent in the same case. And as he has it in there in a way that creates new authority. But every time these attorneys come in here, no real party in interest, nothing but a shell corporation with no executive, manager, supervisor, employee from those companies. They always bring themselves. That's when we're going to talk about debt collection. Debt buyers. You see? But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And what he's saying is correct. But at the same time, they need to hold, when I mean they, those judges need to hold these attorneys to the same principles, the same rules. If any attorney brings in a claim on behalf of some so-called company and there's no declaration or verified statement from anybody from that company, that's an immediate dismissal. Or if you're the plaintiff, then that's immediate summary judgment. Judgment on the pleas, failure to defend. They failed to defend. How they failed to defend? No, absolutely no verified statements from anybody with firsthand knowledge of the facts. So my fact stands. Case closed. It's over.
Zero additional rights. Courts will treat it as legally meaningless or worse, confusion and frivolous filing, which is exactly what happened to that gentleman in the video. He was kicked out of court and a warrant was issued for his arrest. So it's better to learn things the right way so you can actually defend yourself. Attorney, in fact, is power of attorney for somebody else, not for yourself. That is misapplication. There's nothing like this tool and it can educate you on everything. Let me show you where to get this at. Go right here, statenationalsrock.com, be the change that you want to see.
So now, very good, young man. Very good. But there's something that he's missing. Right? There's something that he's missing. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Brian? More emotion. What's going on? Hey, look, let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. There is something that he is missing out by saying. You can't be the power of attorney in fact. You can't be attorney in fact, and really, as he said, it's for somebody else. Now, we know when they come in, everything is being done absent common law, right? Because if it's just a real party in interest, you're dealing with a civil issue. So in that civil issue, if there's no meeting of the minds or no valid contract, then you have something which is called a unilateral contract or a promissory note, promise to pay. So under that, it's governed under the Uniform Commercial Code. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're coming into jurisdiction, like he said, due process jurisdiction is everything. Where am I at? Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. It's only 3. That's it. No more. If it's not Article 3, we're dealing with commercial law. We either working with commercial, legislative law, administrative law, admiralty law, maritime law, or we're dealing with the War Powers Act. See what I'm saying? That's important. Now, if they issued a warrant for his arrest, they must have issued a warrant for his arrest for impersonating an attorney, a bar card carrying attorney. If that's the case, they issued a warrant for his arrest. But if he's coming in, if he's the one coming in as the plaintiff or the claimant, and he didn't express jurisdiction, that's something where he can get a warrant out for his arrest. But if he's the defendant, if they're claiming him to be the defendant or that name to be the defendant, and if it's in all caps, and this is basically dealing with the Styles manual. If a name is in all caps, it's not a proper noun. It's not dealing with a living human. Outside of that, you say what you issuing word because you are power of attorney in fact. You're acting as an attorney. Well, I am acting as an attorney, and you know, I'm acting as attorney in fact for the ens legis. It's a Latin term, ens legis, or the estate, or how you guys got it set up. This is why you got to know what the jurisdiction is first. Jurisdiction is the first part of due process. I have a right to face my accuser, and I have the right to know what jurisdiction we're in, so I know how to properly defend it. So he's right, but that warrant, I don't know where that came from, but obviously it was something he did. When he asked him if he was an attorney, he said, licensed attorney, he said no. And then he said, well, what's your name? And he got stuck. He got stuck. Like, which my response will be, you don't know my name? I mean, you got these documents on this table. What are you saying? What do you mean, what is my name? Would that be held against me? Right. Remember, due process. I got a right to remain silent. Anything I say might be used against me. For him being silent and doing all that other stuff, they just ran right through him. But I don't know if he was defendant or what, but I think based on what this guy was saying, he was a defendant. So yeah, that's why they ran through him. Let's continue. I don't know where this is going. None of your business sent this to me. So some of these things, yeah, these are some of the things she sent to me. I don't know where this was going, but I want to hear the sister say what she got to say. All right, let's go.
All right, I'm gonna get real serious for this one. Stop going back.
All right, let me make sure. Am I playing? Yep, I'm playing. All right, let's go. Hold on. Nope. Wait. Oh, yep. See, I'm not even playing it. Boom. See, y'all wasn't even going to tell me. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Back and forth with these races, my people. Stop going back and forth with these races. Your comments are not going to unracist someone in 3 comments. You don't be racist for 45 years, and because you said something that was educated or something that was historically factual, then all of a sudden they're not racist anymore. This is embedded in their DNA. We are looking at the children and descendants of people who used to boil your bodies and cook them for fear tactics, who used to take your children and feed them to alligators and use your children as bait, that used to, like, literally eat your brains and eat your body parts.
All right, that's enough of that. What the hell? We don't need that. I don't like all that fear monger. We can move on from there. Let's get back to some realistic stuff.
Living man, Ryan Michael Thor, is the defendant in error. It's the artificial person.
This is one of the best jurisdictional challenges ever caught on camera. I have shown this before, but I want to break down what is being said here and why it works.
Good job. And then were you able to clear the license issue, or is there a hold?
For the record, my name is Ryan Thor. I'm the living man. I am not the entity known as Ryan Michael Thor, just to clear that. I am here on special appearance under threat, duress, and coercion to challenge subject matter jurisdiction and also personal jurisdiction as well.
There's a good reason behind everything he just said.
Now, that's a good way to approach it. Everything's through the letter. See how he did? He made sure that he made it clear who he was and who he was not. All right. See where else this goes.
Said to the judge. First, he made a distinction between himself as the living man and the trust created by the federal corporation.
Oh, you said what I said. Cool. My bad. Let me just let it roll. Sheesh.
Which shares his name. I'm not a big fan of the term straw man, but there is no better way to explain what a cestui trust is to the average person. Remember, all traffic cases are actually administrative hearings adjudicating the alleged misuse of trust property. Anytime you register property with the government, you give them superior interest in the property, which is why the state puts its name on the back of your car, and they grant you the mere right of use to use it the way they tell you to. Secondly, the man makes it clear that he is there by special appearance, specifically to challenge jurisdiction. This is stated so the court cannot presume consent to the proceedings just because he showed up.
I filed my paperwork for you on Friday, and the clerk illegally denied it. I went again this morning and filed my paperwork again for you. The clerk again illegally denied it, even though I gave her a notice telling her it's a felony for her not to accept my paperwork. And actually, it's in law, it's considered filed when I gave it to her.
I have to point out two very important things in regard to what he just said. First, he is relying on the federal rules of civil procedure, Rule 5D4, and Title 18 USC Section 2071, both of which essentially state that a clerk cannot refuse to file, and mishandling of records is a felony. The problem with this is that both of those documents only apply to federal cases, which actually brings me to my second point. These bar pirates running the courts know so little about the law that this clown in a gown does not even point that out. He's doing a great job. But my advice would be to look up your state's court rule and statutory equivalent and use that.
So there.
What do you want to do today, sir?
Well, Your Honor, I mean, I'm going to have to ask a few questions first, which first of all is I need to understand the nature and the cause of the charges against me, as well as I need to know, is this a civil jurisdiction or criminal jurisdiction?
Okay, it's criminal jurisdiction.
Criminal.
All traffic cases are technically under criminal jurisdiction because the state is technically piggybacking off of Title 18 USC Section 7 Special Maritime and Territorial Jurisdiction in order to enforce the federal law merchant, which is commercial. That title is also where the federal definition of motor vehicle is found. Coincidence?
All right, y'all getting that? Are you guys getting that? All right.
I think not. These are not courts of law. In order for a court to be considered a court of law, It must proceed according to the common law, and for there to be a criminal complaint at common law, there must be an injured party. By admitting it is criminal, she put herself in a bad spot. Watch what he does.
It's traffic infraction court, so no possibility of going to jail on any of this. You settled one of your counts. You just approved a correction on August 26, 2022, or Ryan Michael Thor did. If you're saying, are you saying that's not you?
Ryan Thor is the living man. Ryan Michael Thor is the defendant in error. It's the artificial person. So thank you, Your Honor. Let the record of the court show that the action against me is criminal. And now I have another question, because the Constitution grants us two different criminal jurisdictions, okay? One criminal jurisdiction is under the common law, and the other is under the criminal jurisdiction of admiralty or military tribunal venue from Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution.
Now again, I must point out that he is trying to apply the federal Constitution.
You guys getting that? I haven't said anything, so.
To what is supposed to be a state matter. And again, she does not point that out. However, this time it may not be due to her ignorance. She is getting worried. She has admitted that she has him in a criminal court. Now he needs to see a victim. If he is in criminal court and there is no victim, he knows he must be in a foreign jurisdiction. Notice he is rarely making statements without asking a question. This keeps the burden of proof on the court.
Well, I need to know which of these two jurisdictions that you intend to try me. It's very important because they're done different ways. The rules of civil procedure are very different in a criminal jurisdiction, obviously for common law, and a military.
No one's asking you, no. So we just need to show, were you able to cure your license with the DMV, or you don't know?
Your Honor, I need to get these other questions answered. I need to know what the jurisdiction is, and I need to know also who the injured party is. The nature and cause of this. I need to know who the injured party is.
Okay.
I need to know who's bringing the claim.
How about, okay, the state is. So here's the deal. Do you want to have a trial date? I can give you many.
I was waiting for a pause there. Did you guys hear? She said the state. She said the state is. I'm gonna run that back. This guy's cooking. I mean, he probably don't use a lot of seasoning, but he cooking.
With the DMV, or you don't know?
Your Honor, I need to get these other questions answered. I need to know what the jurisdiction is, and I need to know also who the injured party is. The nature and cause of this. I need to know who the injured party is.
Okay.
I need to know who's bringing the claim.
How about, okay, the state is. So here's.
The state is bringing the claim. This is how you know. Coach ain't lying to you now. Coach ain't lying to you. Come on now. He cooking. With a little seasoning. Probably medium rare. But he cooking.
Do you want to have a trial date? I can give you many trial different dates, and
She keeps asking questions, trying to shift the burden of proof back on him. Did you cure your license with the DMV? Do you want to set a trial date? Answering these questions with anything other than a question is consent to jurisdiction. Judges frequently do this, so you must always be prepared.
come in and you can ask all the questions, and they have to prove the charges against you. So.
Thank you, Your Honor, but I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office by doing your duty under the Constitution. Okay?
Mr. Thor, I'm gonna have to come back to your case, because I have all these other cases, and I'll take all the time in the world to do, because you see you Aton today?
Your Honor, I just motioned for a dismissal because if this is a criminal jurisdiction, as you're claiming, I need to see a verified complaint and I need from the injured party, and I have to have an opportunity to face my accuser, as you mentioned at the beginning of this entire hearing. So who is the injured party? That's the question. Who's the injured party? Why am I here? I don't understand why I'm here.
You paid $440.32.
You see that? That was slick. DA came in there and said, that's when he talked. He was like, hey, no need to go. That's code language right there. He's paid up $448.32. She said, oh, he is? This how you know these judges don't know shit from shot. They don't know what's going on. They know a script that's being given to them by these attorneys, the DA's office. They come in there, the judges are sitting there. They ain't even judges. These are like commissioners or whatever they are. An extended hand of the district attorney's office. That's what happened right there. That was smooth. He's paid up. Oh, he is? Oh, okay. I can calm down now. I can just relax. I ain't got to do all the extras. Let's hear that again.
Criminal jurisdiction, as you're claiming, I need to see a verified complaint, and I need from the injured party, and I have to have an opportunity to face my accuser, as you mentioned at the beginning of this entire hearing. So, who is the injured party? That's the question. Who's the injured party? Why am I here? I don't understand why I'm here.
He's paid $448.32. Yeah. All right.
So what else? So he just has to count one and count two, and he should approve the right? All right, sir, I'm going to just exercise my discretion on dismiss count one and dismiss count.
Bingo. I'm going to use my discretion. Discretion, key word. Judicial discretion. Now she's going to use her discretion. This is a whole script. This is what they play. It's beautiful, ain't it? It's beautiful.
Count two and just order the fees that you've already paid to cover court costs.
She just granted his motion using her discretion, which basically means that she does not want the other tax chattel hearing this and getting any ideas. However, notice that she tries to keep his bond money. This is because all traffic tickets are trust instruments, much like a promissory note, and the court is acting as fiduciary for the trust created by it. These instruments are generally sold to institutional investors before the case is even disposed, which is why the courts in every state have an over 99% conviction rate. Once the instrument is sold, someone has to perform the obligations. If the case is dismissed, the prosecution is left holding the debt.
Okay.
So,
no charges are pending against you. They've been dismissed. Interest of justice.
so I'm letting the record show that the defendant, Ryan Michael Thor, with case CMZ 606-406, all charges are dismissed. Is that correct?
And whatever fees were paid are going towards court costs, okay?
Well, those fees are bail, and they should be returned after dismissal.
Okay. You know what? I don't have a problem with returning your fees. I don't.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Have a good day, Mr. Thor.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, those things. Let's continue.
It was the year that they took something from every American. Most people believe that 1933 was just a year in a history book. It wasn't. It was the year that they took something from every American. And most people still don't know that it's gone. This content is for educational purposes only. It's not legal advice and doesn't represent any political affiliation. In 1933, gold was removed from circulation. Real money was gone. And what was it replaced by? Debt instruments, Federal Reserve notes, floating rate notes now, promises issued by a private bank backed by nothing but your confidence in the system. And here's what nobody teaches you. The entire legal framework that protected your rights was built on a foundation of real money. When the money changed, the law quietly changed with it. Equity jurisprudence, the doctrine of conscience, the law of clean hands and of fair dealing. It got buried. Matthew 16:26 says, what is a man profited if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? You cannot gain what you do not understand you lost. If you are ready to understand what was taken and how to reclaim your standing, link is in the bio, Lone Wolf Pack Ministry, faith, trust, and honor. My name is Patrick. Have an amazing day.
Yep. Let's go. See what this is.
What you're looking at is the Colorado Department of Corrections inmate identification card. My name, my face, my past. And I'm showing you because what happened to this record is the most powerful proof I can give you that equity is real. This is educational only, not legal advice, not political affiliation. There was a legal scholar named John Norton Pomeroy, one of the most respected authorities on equity jurisprudence in American history. And he wrote something that changed the way I understood what was possible. He said that a court of equity holds inherent power to order the cancellation and correction of any record that operates as an inequitable cloud upon a person's rights. He called it restitution integrum, complete restoration, not partial, not compensated, restored. He went further. He said a record that continues to punish a man where punishment has already been satisfied.
What? What'd he say? What'd he say? What'd you say?
It's the Colorado Department of Corrections inmate identification card. My name, my face, my past. And I'm showing you because what happened to this record is the most powerful proof I can give you that equity is real. This is educational only, not legal advice, not political affiliation. There was a legal scholar named John Norton Pomeroy, one of the most respected authorities on equity jurisprudence in American history. And he wrote something that changed the way I understood what was possible. He said that a court of equity holds inherent power to order the cancellation and correction of any record that operates as an inequitable cloud upon a person's rights. He called it restitution integrum, complete restoration, not partial, not compensated, restored. He went further. He said a record that continues to punish a man where punishment has already been satisfied is itself an instrument of inequity. Inequity will not allow its own machinery to be used as a weapon of perpetual destruction. I didn't hire a lobbyist. I didn't pay anyone under the table. I didn't find a loophole. I learned the doctrine he taught. I did the work. I applied 400 years of equity jurisprudence to my own life. And that record no longer lives where it once lived publicly. Go look it up. This is not bragging. This is testimony. Because here's what Pomeroy also said. Equity looks at the whole man, not merely the recorded act, but the conscience reformed, the life rebuilt, and the ongoing injury that satisfied punishment that continues to inflict. If there's something following you, a record, a lien, a foreclosure, a judgment that continues to punish you long after justice should have been satisfied, equity may have an answer that law never gave you. We applied it to ourselves first. That's how we know it works. Send me a direct message. Let us show you what complete restoration looks like.
Well done. Well said.
And we need to talk about it. Oh, it's good. It's good. Okay, riddle me this. Can a note that promises to pay lawful money be lawful money? No. Federal Reserve notes are promises to pay. They are debt notes. They are not money. They are legal tender, but they are not lawful money. Okay, here's the practical side of this. Since Federal Reserve notes are legal tender, but not lawful money, that means they are also voluntary. You use them voluntarily because slavery is against the law, right? This means the bank or the debt collector or the company, whoever you're dealing with making demands for payment from you, they cannot demand a specific species of legal tender. Yeah, so if they demand Federal Reserve notes, that is against the law. It is quite unlawful. Here is a lawful response to anyone making a demand for payment from you. What species of money did you provide? And what species of money are you demanding? Please drop the question in the comments, okay? And remember to do all of the button things and share this video, because you never know who's going to be blessed by this knowledge. Check out my website at AneliaSutton.com for free lessons when you subscribe to Tribe Vibes. Subscribe and check your email, because that's how I'm going to be sending you the free lessons. Also, when you're at AneliaSutton.com, check out
Well, what's up, big dog? Hey, get back. Monday, huh? I'm on fire, ain't I? Things that came through, didn't they? Listen, people. Guys gotta listen closely. Shout out to None of Your Business. Shout out to me. They say he just want to be right. Yeah, I do. And you know what? I'm right. Just think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. Aton-Yah Sutton is a lawyer. Those other things that you provide is, what I call my white kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? The white boys doing that stuff, huh? And they serious about it. See what I'm saying? This is what I call my white boy kryptonite. They come in with that information. I didn't give you the information. Now, what I've been doing is, that's what I start this like in March. Yeah, something like that. And I've been saying the same thing over and over and over again. Different ways, showing you different aspects of it, but the same thing. Got to look at it from this perspective, right? Look at it from this perspective, you will understand that it's basic. This is absolutely basic. And what Aton-Yah Sutton said, right? This is Aton-Yah. Those came up in here. We're going to get to his mark ass in a minute. But yeah. Her right here. If you remember, hold on, let me get my screen back up. Boom. Let's go over here. Right. All right. So I'll stay big on this one. Boom. Boom. Right here. This is Aton-Yah. She's been doing this for a while. And remember, we came back here, we was talking about this right here. What they said about them changing and selling notes and so on and so forth. And just what this guy said right before that. Equitable. Restoration. Restitution. Reparations. This guy is asking for that. And he's asking for it in the present time. This is what I'm saying to all my Aboriginal Indigenous American Indians. Then put on a suspect classification such as Black, Negro, Colored in order to usurp them out of their position as landowners, as the landlords, ownership and fee and absolute title from time immemorial. Get that. In the present time, how was it done? You don't have to go too far back, just right now. Not too far. Stay right here. Then we can create a trail on back. Because as I've shown you, you are the owner in fee simple of the land. Didn't know that, did you? There's something else going on. And I think it's going to take for these people that you see on the screen to make it make sense for you. See what I'm saying? Everything that is done under colorable law and under what I called fiat. Just like she said, specie, lawful money, lawful acts. What are you bringing? What's the nature and cause? What's the jurisdiction? What are we doing here? Why am I here? What are we talking about? Questions, not statements. This is not the time to act like you know. This is the time to act like you don't know, because you don't. Do you understand the charges? Yeah, I do. Thank you very much. Now, hopefully we can move faster now, because I want to move faster. This is good. Most of these came from None of Your Business. I was actually pretty good what she did. She actually gave me something. That's how I know None of Your Business is listening. And she's serious. She is sending me these links by the dozens every day, based on what I'm presenting, to assist me in bringing it more powerful. She's finding good things. Shout out to None of Your Business. See what I'm saying? I didn't pull these up. She did. Nevertheless, what we're going to do is we're going to transition here, because now I want to get this Carmelo-Anthony and this chow thing out of my system and out of everybody's system, because now you know, based on everything that I provided you over these, just in this month alone, in this month and last month, because all this stuff been going on over the last 2 months. There's something wrong here. There's something wrong. And is everybody acting? Is everybody acting that they putting up in front of us on these screens? Is everybody acting? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look, it'll be all right. It'll be all right, y'all. But this is how basic it can be for the restoration. That's why I call it R&R. It's repair and restore. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. Repair and restore. Complete restoration. We're not talking about compensation. We're not talking about anything. Restore it to where it was from the beginning. And in that restoration, then we could talk numbers, because we don't know the numbers. At the same time, you guys, some might agree, some might not agree. Some might be right in the middle and say, hey, I need more. What you mean? I would say, I don't need them to leave. Certain people don't need to leave. And that's them type of people that's talking this. They can stay because they want to work. They know what it is to be a United States citizen. They knew why they were brought here, and they are doing their acts. And at this point in time, they have been here longer than pretty much everybody else. And they know what it means to be an American. They know what an American is. and they know what it means to be a citizen of the United States. We're not talking about them ones that sit there. Now, if these people turn out to be, nigger haters, then we'll deal with that then. But for the most part, the information that is provided is the same thing that I'm saying. And it's like it's more stuff. Have you guys noticed since I started going live, you see more people coming out trying to talk about this now? When nobody's been talking about this. Everybody's been talking about Nassar, Jassara. They've been talking about the Republicans coming back. They've been talking about Donald Trump. Ain't nobody been talking about this. People then went to the Bible and everything. But they not talking about this. Now why everybody want to talk about it now? Hopefully it ain't because of me. Shit, what do I know? Hey, I'm just talking minds. But look, check it out. Hey, little, side. But look, under the circumstances, I want to move on to, I'm going to go back to the video. Dane had a new video on this. I want to catch up with that. I want to also catch up with the one guy. I'm going to play his again, the guy that defended Chow. So Dane had one more on the Carmelo thing, and Chow had this. I want to go back to the guy testifying on Chow, that the brother that would, well, I don't know if he a brother or not, but it is what it is. The guy that defended Chow. So I want to discuss that, and I want to discuss it from my allergies are killing me right now. And then my nose, my mustache is like curling. It curls up a certain time. And then that thing be curling up in my nose. My allergies, I've been sneezing all day. But look, check it out. I want to keep it from the point of what we was talking about before. If everything that we just seen that goes on in court, would you consider that these two situations will be the same way? But you will understand how it works in reverse. That all of these people are involved, working together. Start with Dane. Let's start with Dane. There you go. All right.
They're trying to keep this hidden, but I did find this out. So I'm going to scroll down here. It says on Wednesday, he was transported to TDCJ, where another new booking photo was taken. And that's the one where you see that he's bald. This is the reason why people were so upset. It was like, oh, they made him cut his hair. Keep in mind, his hair was already cut low, but I get it. They made him bald. So it says after intake, he was transported to his unit of assignment at the PAC unit near Navasota. So after intake, he was transported. And that's the part that stuck out. I was like, okay, so let me look this up. There is a process that they go through. They go to this place called the Bird Unit, which is in Huntsville. And after that, as far as processing is concerned, and then they'll go to the PAC unit, which is the Navasota one that you see here. Okay, this is upsetting to see. But here's the reason why this is upsetting. What you see here, what I'm showing you here is the senior warden of that particular facility, the Bird Unit, that's in Huntsville. So he had to go here first for processing. Notice the senior warden's name is Tyler Metcalf. He went here, and this was before he was transferred to the PAC unit. if we go back to the article, if you read down, it says authorities generally do not publicly disclose inmate transportation details before a transfer occurs or security reasons. Now it says reports, Sean Robb reported that inmates are typically transported with other prisoners and may take several stops or may make several stops before arriving in Huntsville for intake and classification. So that confirms that he's there with that. And that's a conflict of interest. I don't know.
So Dane be finding some shit. One thing I give Dane, I do know how to do his research. Where they're taking him, Huntsville, isn't that Alabama? Ain't he in Texas? Is there a Huntsville in Texas? Oh, let's check. Let's check. Let's see if there's a Huntsville in Texas. Huntsville. Yeah, there's a Huntsville, Texas. Huntsville, Texas. Prison. Yeah, there's a Huntsville unit. 54 acres. 54 acres. It's crazy. 54 acres. Oh boy. How you business? Yeah, we've been I've been playing your you had some good videos I snatched up here. You're late. But yeah, I just snatched it. Let me show you real quick. Yep. That one. Play them all. That's all you. That's all you. Yeah, nah, I started early. I tagged you on it. I started early. Yeah, if I could get going early, y'all gotta look out for me. If I can get going at 11:45, I'm going at 11:45. So I could be out of here. I ain't getting done like 4, 5 o'clock. Nah, that's out. We ain't doing all that. But yeah, good looking out though. These were some bangers. This actually lined everything up today. Shout out to me for finding them though. None of your business. It's you have sent me. Phew. It's like you put me to work. All right, back to this video. So he's been sent to a prison to where a Metcalf is the warden. Oh my goodness. Boy, they're gonna have a party with him. And the cold thing about it is, the dude, Bishop Gators, I heard him say that he would not survive. Said he's going to die in prison. That's what he said. And now Dane's showing this. Metcalf being the warden. Oh, boy. That brother right there, boy, he got an issue. All right. Hold on, make sure my screen is rolling. All right, man.
If they have any relation, I cannot verify that. I don't know if he's related to the other Metcalfs within that area. I'm not exactly sure, but there's a strong possibility because he ended up coming out of Huntsville with a bald head. So that's to answer everybody's question about that. You are correct in wondering what happened here, and it had to happen in between being transported, because he was immediately as soon as they gave the guilty verdict, they immediately started the process to put him in jail. Like less than 24 hours, he was already at the facility. Like usually you would think that he would stay at the, at the county jail, but no. They immediately started moving him. And I think, this was done to humiliate him. This is unfortunate. This is another reason why you could tell something is up.
Okay, Navasota. Where the hell is Navasota at? Navasota, Texas. All right, cool. So we know it's in Texas. All right, just checking. That's crazy. Sheesh.
Up. And to make matters worse, here's the judge in his case. Like right after that, he decides to do an interview. Judge Roach, the judge that oversaw Carmelo Anthony's case, conducting an interview. When have you ever seen this? Out of my years of life so far, I have never seen anything like this before. This is alarming.
Excuse me, sir. How old were you?
Buy it. Don't buy it, whatever it is. Buy it.
No, look, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Right at
a lot of the witnesses come in all shapes and sizes and colors and all that, and so that was normal for me. What wasn't normal for me is to have those witnesses be intimidated by things being said on social media, because those young people rely on social media more than I certainly do, and so that sure impacted me to make sure that they did not change their testimony. They were willing to come in and tell the truth without fear of being doxxed or swatted and stuff. And so I took every precaution that I could, consistent with the law, to make that happen.
No, Steve.
Who does this? I mean, that ain't right. Who does this? What judge have you ever seen do an interview right after the conviction? When have you ever seen this? Look at his face. He's about matter of fact about it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'm doing here. This is the one thing that where the people need to understand. And when I say the people, you already know who I'm talking about. This is where you guys got to understand what's going on here. You got to understand what's going on here. You remember, Trump is giving a lot of the power back to the states without the federal government getting involved in everything, all the stuff. Abortion to the states. The Department of Education to the states. Civil rights, voting rights, back to the states. Federal government is not getting involved. Federal government is outside of being the constitutional government for the whole North American continent. The power is going back to the states. He's fully implementing back in its proper place the 10th Amendment. So anything that came after that, it's pretty much null and void. He pretty much knocked down the 13th and 14th Amendment. I think the 11th and 12th, we got to look at that and see how that plays out. If that's relevant, maybe that might be cool. But that 10th Amendment is in full effect. You see that most of the states are got that gold and silver back in function. A lot of these states, I think it's 47 of them, have taken the taxation off of gold and silver, which no longer makes it a commodity. Got legal tender. It could be legal tender, gold. You could pay. So pay attention. going back to the state. But still a remedy. If you know the history behind America, this is why I say people want to know world history and all that stuff. Good. World government, good. But you got to know American history and you got to know American government. If you don't know American history, you don't know American government, then you don't know anything. Because you're looking at a foreigner right here. He is a foreigner. See his hands? See, I got his hands crafted. Right. So he's a foreigner. You going back to them times because you got people like that that still hate niggas. They hate the gods of this earth. They hate the gods, the fathers and mothers of this continent. They hate them. And you know they do. His eyes is low, they beady. His forehead is relaxed. His hands are fixed. He is like, yeah, I did that. I've done this plenty of times. And he could sit there. It's like in Islam, they call it something else, where it's a name that they use, that if they consider you to be lesser than godly material, as a beast on all fours, they don't have to tell you the truth. They don't have to tell you anything but what they want to tell you. They can lie straight in your face, and they believe that and they know to be true that their God will forgive them because you're not of God, not our God. So I could tell you anything, and I could do to you anyway. After I'm done, I'm going to sit down, have a meal with my family, kiss my child, go to sleep, and my wife, and I'm going to sleep good because I just killed me an infidel where I just set somebody up Creek Road to bale hay, make license plates forever and a day. I'm going to make sure these people, these specific people that come across me will not enjoy their youth.
He brought it up too, and I know both sides probably brought it up as well. The AI images.
Okay, I'm going to look into that to see if he says anything that's worthy of listening to. But I just found this to be alarming, that he decided to do an interview. Like, I mean, as a judge, we never see anything like that before. So now I'm getting ready to play a lot more videos that were sent to me inside of the 13% community server, in which it's free. You could join right now using the link in the description. Also, I believe this is probably going to be the only segue that I could utilize to my sponsor. My new book is here, The Quiet Blueprint of Wealth. It's a masterclass that teaches exactly what the title implies. Grab your physical copies on Amazon Prime or anywhere else books are sold, or download the ebook version exclusively at DaneMakeYouThink.com.
I'm trying to pay off your loan.
Stop calling me. You sound like a psycho. I swear to God.
I'm calling you to let you know that we're going to pay off every loan you have. Like, it's literally a good thing.
I understand, but I'm not interested.
All right, so in these next videos, you're going to see a bunch of Caucasians or...
Sorry about that. Mailman was at my door.
White Americans, whatever you want to call them, stating some interesting takes here.
Secret Service Sam here with a karmelloanthony Austin Metcalf update. Here is an email I have...
Fair use, fair use, fair use. Appreciate it, Dane. Appreciate it. I forgot to tag you. So anybody know Dane? Tell him. My bad. I'm gonna tag you.
Obtained, I believe it to be real, Just listen to this. One of the cheerleaders complaining about the twins. Coaches, the other cheerleaders and I have tried to make an effort to stay supportive and spirited throughout the football season. However, the disrespect we feel coming from some of the football players is making it very difficult. Today, after our game against Liberty, some of us cheerleaders in uniform went to Canes. While talking amongst ourselves about the loss, Hunter Metcalf stood up and yelled that my friend and fellow varsity cheerleader is a fat bitch. I don't understand what triggers his rages, but to yell this unprovoked made us all real.
I mean, I get this part, but this is the way they function. Look, I played baseball with a lot of white boys. I mean, you play baseball, it's going to be some white boys. When you get to the next level, you're going to see some white boys. And that's how they function. It's normal for them. I mean, it's normal. They're raised that way. Well, y'all go get a clue.
Really upset. It was incredibly embarrassing for my friend, as everyone is in Canes looked at her and started laughing. We see the Metcalfs act out time and time again, but we trust that there is no repercussions or some sort of consequence, so we stay out of it. But
bingo. Every day, that's how they act. They hope nothing happens, so we stay out of it. Just be quiet, turn your head, turn your cheeks, act like that's how they function. That's how they function. What I want to do is I'm going to come over here to this one. I'm going to come over here to this one with this interview that was very interesting. This other one Dane had. This was very interesting what this brother was saying. Hopefully it's this one.
To do with it, but there was, oh no, that could be considered evidence. Keep in mind, he saw the video last year. He was not the only one to see the video, but he saw it last.
People, especially white people, and the black coons and the house ninjas. You know who I'm talking about.
Right on.
They say this story sounds unbelievable. They don't believe.
Now, we looked at the other one where he was standing outside and he looked like he was kind of nervous, didn't know what to say. This is what made me like, wait a minute. His whole demeanor is different. Like he on some real, like you tell, like, yeah, he's a reputable. He's not nothing to play with. Just by the way he talking, nothing to play with. I'm going to play a few minutes of this, dang. So I don't have no problem deleting it after it's done. I don't have no problem deleting it. Most of the time I delete this stuff anyway. Especially with somebody like, you know, they got high profile. So I'm thinking I'm trying to make some money off of you, brother. But, man, you got good content, man. This type of stuff we need.
Believe you guys actually seen an actual video. They believe you guys are lying.
At first I did.
Now,
I admit it.
Noticed on the interview that...
Me too. Me too.
You gave, you didn't really go into great detail. I want to use this as an opportunity for you to actually go into detail about what you've seen on that video. Could you please first tell us what even motivated you to go actually watch the video? Were you talking to somebody? Was it just you didn't like how they was doing, how, you know, they were doing Carmelo at the time? What motivated you? How did you even find out about the video, and what motivated you to go down there and sign up to go see it?
Well, how I found out about seeing the video, there's a advocate by the name of Tiffany Billions.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Tiffany.
Okay.
Shout out to Tiffany.
So she was the one. She was also in that press conference.
TikTok, fill out the reform, go up there and check out the video. So that's how I found out about going and seeing the video. But what actually motivated me to see the video is I have a son who's also 25. When I say 25, the class of 2025. So he was Carmelo's class, right? And you know, I also played ball. I refereed in the Dallas area, so I'm still involved, right? And it was just a tragedy, you know, just a tragedy. So once, I heard that sitting down in Florida at an Airbnb, the day it happened. I'm sitting down in Arizona, Florida, Airbnb. I get back to Dallas, find out you can actually go see the video. So I wanted to see the video for myself to find out, was the kid on some BS or was the kid, protecting himself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you really wanted to see actually
defense when he did.
I'm not allowed. I don't know why somebody would lie. If the kid did it, lock his ass up. If the kid is protecting himself, he shouldn't do a day. He shouldn't do a day inside.
I agree.
So before you actually give,
now this whole time, his face never changes. See, he said if he did it, lock his ass up. That right there was like, okay, yeah, he not lying. He talking about it. His face does not change.
Of really a detailed description of what you saw in the video. From what you saw in the video, do you think he deserves to be locked up? Do you think he even deserves to be found guilty of anything?
No disrespect, brother. No disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
There was an intro to Eazy-E's song where the reporter was like, "So Eazy, why do you cuss?" He was like, "I wouldn't get my point across. So excuse me if a word or two come out, but hell no, hell no."
How about we do this, T-Sturdy? Start from the beginning on you actually driving up or going to Frisco ISD, and after you got out of your vehicle, when you went inside, what was the procedure in order to see this video from the beginning?
Okay, so the process was you get to the ISD, it's locked down, so you hit the intercom button, and they you tell them your order of business. So my name is Tony Sterling, I'm here to see that video. They buzz you in. You go in, check in with the receptionist. She takes your ID, just like you do it. I don't know, people out here got kids at school. They take your ID and they give you that little
checking you in
with your photo on there, with your name, and and put you in the I guess
in the
system or whatever, let you know that you're here or been here.
My new book is here. So
know these ladies' name, but I forget the lady name. She was of, I want to say, like Middle Eastern descent. That was the receptionist. So she was like, "Okay, we got you in. You go have a seat in the lobby." And I believe her name was Michelle, and that was the person who gave, who actually ran the video for you to see. So that she was like, go have a seat in the lobby. Michelle will be down and take you upstairs to go view the video.
We do anything from $20,000 a month.
Go buy it. Oh yeah, and buy that new book, The Quiet Blueprint of Wealth. Dane just put out. Check it out.
Wait,
he not the only one that said the name Michelle was the person that showed the video.
Yeah, I did. I believe I sat there for about maybe 15 minutes. It was a nice little wait. I sat there for maybe 10, 15 minutes. At the time, I thought I was the only person viewing the video. But I noticed on the side that I was sitting, it was just a gentleman sitting there. And on the other side of the lobby, there was a female sitting there. Mm-hmm. So as I was sitting there, the gentleman was waiting to actually serve papers. Because, as I'm ear hustling,
yeah,
I find out who was actually there to, serve like subpoena papers.
So who?
Really?
Yes, sir. Then we walked down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we made a left. Went on top of that receptionist desk.
Okay.
And the other lady, quote unquote, put her belongings on that end table. So as we walk into the office, they have
I wonder why he said that.
NDA statements to fill out. Saying that
they made them sign NDAs?
Whatever else it said. There are copies on TikTok.
Y'all had to sign NDAs?
Yes.
What?
Yes, we had to sign NDAs.
Wouldn't this video be considered a public for the public. Like,
It's supposed to be.
You see what I'm saying? I'm watching the brother's face the whole time. I watched this the other day. I was like, this boy didn't blink. I ain't even seen him blink.
It's supposed to be, correct. It's definitely supposed to be.
I never heard of having to sign NDAs, and I don't know.
They hiding something.
Going case out, maybe, I don't know, but like, I never heard it. This is strange to me. It just sounds like some espionage. Like, it just sounds strange to me because do you remember Rick Chow that gunned down the little black kid, Cyrus?
Right.
They showed that video on mainstream media, right? We didn't have to sign off to see the Rick Chow video, the surveillance video of him actually leaving out of his store, running after that kid, him and his son. We didn't have to sign off on that. To me, that's strange.
Man, we saw everybody else's video, but this
signing an NDA, leaving your phones with it. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say that because that sounds strange to me, dog.
Yeah. I understand them not wanting people to record, but an NDA?
That's everybody who viewed the video. So,
So everybody that viewed the video had to sign an NDA. We just said that.
Michelle notices that the lady that I'm watching the video. That's everybody who viewed the video. So, as we sign that video, we hand it to Michelle. Michelle notices that the lady that I'm watching the video with sign the NDA. So she give it back to her, like, can we please get your John Hancock on this form here. So, that's taken care of. Then at the end of the conference room, from the door, at the end of the conference room, there's probably a 45-inch, maybe 52-inch, 50-inch TV.
Check this out.
Up on the wall, and that's
a nice size
video. However, the video that we're viewing is basically, the area that we're viewing on that video, on that 50-inch TV, the size that we're looking at is basically the size of these boxes. If you're on the phone, not the boxes on the laptop here, but if people have the phone, it's basically a 2-inch by 2-inch area that we have to.
Wait a minute, what?
So they're looking at a video the size of Dane Calloway right now, up in that right-hand corner. Just think of this screen right here being the 40-inch right here. I just blew it all the way up, and that's what they're looking at. They watching Dane. Right. Maybe a little bit bigger. It's like anybody that got the picture-in-picture, right? You could do 2x2, you could do 4x4, you could do a 4. You could have all 4 screens up. We do that when we're watching sports or something like that. Watch 4 screens. That's pretty much what you're watching. You're watching a corner. That's what he said they watching. And look now, he has not changed his face expression that one time, man. Look. It's wild.
No, the little box, if you actually, because I'm using my Android to chime in, so I don't know people on their Androids or iPhones or whatever, but
okay.
I also have my laptop up.
I'm trying to understand what you mean by little boxes. What do you mean by that?
So I got a whole 50-inch TV, right, to watch the video. And I'm thinking I'm going to watch the video on this 50-inch TV.
Yeah.
But when they show the video, the tint area on that video is only 2 by 2 inches. In the top left-hand corner of the TV, it's like they purposely minimize that video.
Listen. Right, old dude. Right. On something you can utilize FOIA on. That's right. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, ain't it? Kind of weird. But this is what I'm saying. It's like, what are they telling us? There's a message in this. You guys know this, right? It's a message. What are they telling us? Got to think about, what are they telling us? What are they saying? Now, I want to go back here. I want to play the guy that supposedly got Chow off. I want to get him back up here. Let's watch him for a second, because we're looking at both ends of the spectrum. You see all this other stuff that you just heard through Dane Calloway in his presentation. He pretty much did the best one. What we also saw was in regards to the people speaking him and them other people speaking, you know, at that podium. And they try to make that, and even like I said, like Dane said, like I said too as well, it sounded like that was staged. But then when you get them on a 101, it's a whole different look. Let's check this guy out. Where are we at here? Wrong one. We had 2 hours.
If Rick Chow executed a human being over a $1 bottle of water, enjoy hell. Let's make that clear. If Rick Chow shot a man in the back stealing $1 bottle of water from his store, you do what you will. Because there's nothing to justify this back and forth. Was he right? Was he wrong? It doesn't matter. Taking a human life over a bottle of water is absolutely ridiculous. It's wrong under any way that you could possibly look at it. And that's why the state has gone out of their way to put this $1 bottle of water up, to put this picture up, because they want you to believe that this is what this case is about. So first, let's talk about the eyewitnesses.
What is this case about, man? What is this case about? It's about a young man came into a store, supposedly had stole some water. Then come to find out, he put the water back. He walks out, they follow him because they're aggressive towards him, act him. He's fearing for his life, so he runs. He trips and falls. The guy shoots him in the back. Not once. All right. That's what we know. And in contrast to what we just heard with the Carmelo case, cameras, everything. Everything talked about, everybody been talking about it on social media. And when it's all said and done, that there was a shooting, and it was done by Chow, either him or his son or his wife's or all three. Nobody knows, but somebody shot him. I know damn well he ain't that flexible where he could run, fall, and shoot himself in the back at the same time. I know that for a fact. So tell me, what is this case about?
And the reason I want to talk about the eyewitnesses first is, remember, and I wrote down a quote that the state said, cameras don't lie. For 17 seconds, you could have played the camera. For 17 minutes, you could have played these cameras. If you remember, these witnesses.
And they didn't. They didn't. Why didn't they? Where's that at?
Got on the stand, they sat in front of you, and I asked them questions. They looked directly at you. They were talking about what they remembered. They were talking about their memories and how important that is. And then I started asking them questions from right there. You remember? I said, no, I'm not trying to be rude, but I remember you talking to 911. Do you remember that? Yeah. And you said something different to the 911 tape that you're saying right here today. I asked another person, isn't it true that we don't interview witnesses together because they can get their stories together and their brains could get something that didn't really happen? Yeah. And that's on video, correct? Cameras don't lie. And they called 911, and in the 911 call, they said they didn't see anything, correct? Cameras don't lie. But don't you remember, and I asked one of the witnesses, isn't it true that you told them something and they said that was completely impossible? Well, yeah. And then they've met with you, they've talked to you, they've interviewed you and put you on the stand and you told something different. Cameras don't lie. So why are we sitting here and not watching those videos? Why didn't the state give you the 911 calls? Why didn't they give you the videos? Why didn't they give you the information? If cameras don't lie. The rest of the story. I talked to one of the investigators and officers as he took the stand. Remember, we asked him, what is important as an investigator? It's important to get the facts. It's important to get the information. It's important to get the evidence as close to the incident as possible. So we can do what? Remember the question I asked him? So we can give all the information to the jury. The rest of the story. Because what we don't want to do is subject and put our emotions in there, our personal beliefs, our subjective decisions. That's what's happened. The rest of the story. But for some reason, the state of South Carolina doesn't want to give it to you.
For some reason, the state of South Carolina does not want to give it to us. And on the other end of the spectrum, the state of Texas did not want to give it to us. So you see two different sides of what? The same coin. Hence the title. Different sides of the same coin. Different sides of the same coin. Oh, two sides of the same coin. You know what that means. But you have one side of the coin that made it work in regards to sending somebody to prison for his adult life, his young adult to his middle adult life. He is 19 now, I think, 17, 18, 19. I don't know how old he's, 18, 19 years old. He's going to be locked up for 35 years. So when he gets his first opportunity to come out, he will be 50. He'll be 54 years old. Yeah, right. And then on the other side, you got somebody like old dude said, after running the length of a football field, you're talking about an old man sat there and ran with that young dude, was able to keep his breath, keep his stamina, plant, shoot, and be accurate. And not trip over himself as well. Then you have something that is done at a corner store, gas station, something like that. So that it's got to be within the city limits. Nobody saw it. But the state of South Carolina and the state of Texas did one thing in common, dealing with that coin. They withheld material evidence and also misrepresented material evidence as facts. They got one man off that is not of our persuasion in the murder of a young man that is underage, that is not an adult. 3 adults. 3 adults, family members, man, woman, child, all adults. Got off, killing a youngster, running. Shot in the back. The state of South Carolina, as he said, and this was the slick thing he did, and I knew this, but I want to save it. Don't you think I was in his favor? But hey, don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Hate the referees. What he did was, if anybody's listening, he actually gave the defense, no, not the defense, I'm sorry. He actually gave the family members, he gave the mother and the father, civil lawsuit. A civil lawsuit. I mean, they could pretty much sue the state of South Carolina because they did what? They withheld material evidence, or they ordered that this material evidence that would have put Chow in prison for the rest of his life, and or his son probably would have did life. He would have did some time, and his wife would have did some time. All 3 of them would have went to prison. The son, the father, since he probably wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, would have did some time. I mean, pretty much all 3 of them could be in prison for the rest of their life. Why? Because you're talking about what is it called? You have not just malice aforethought in murder, but you also call it premeditated. How I can approve premeditated is the simple fact that the wife came over there, followed him around, and then they both came over there and pretty much rushed him in the store. So they already had it in their mind. On top of that, they went and got the gun, unless the gun was already in their possession. So they went and got the gun, came back after him, and then chased him down. There's something in that camera where law enforcement, and more importantly, the district attorney's office, who actually brought the claim in the name of South Carolina. Remember the other stuff I was showing you, right? These are the videos that I played earlier. You see what I'm saying? If the state of has an interest in this party, remember when he asked, he said, "Who's the inter-party? Who's the one that's bringing the claim? Who's the party in interest?" The judge said the state, and then she said it was criminal, and it was a traffic ticket. So the other side, the state of Texas, did the same thing in reverse to do what? Send a young man to prison for the rest of his life. The state utilized their discretion. Remember the judge said, "I'm going to utilize my discretion." The state, which is the district attorney, as I read in Black's Law 4, district attorneys are considered to be government officials. So that means they are a part of the United States government. They are officials of the United States government. You remember what the other guys were saying in those videos. On top of that, I know. I got to do it. Ain't nothing. It is what it is. I mean, they bring that claim. So if the state of South Carolina brought the claim in their interest, which the district attorney is an official of that government, in the state of South Carolina being a subsidiary or a subcorporation or a franchise of the United States of America, based off the fact that all the codes, procedures, and rules and the Constitution is somewhat uniform to the United States Constitution and their rules and civil rules and procedures and enforcement codes. So if that's the case, and you're not operating from a common law status, because that's where you're supposed to be operating from, is a common law status. If from a common law status, there has to be an injured party, as I showed before, corpus delicti in Latin, corpus delicti here, right? Real parties in interest. So the real party in interest is who? The video actually shows that the real party in interest is that young man that passed away because of him being shot down, and the chows. You have your parties in interest. You have an injured party, which is the young man that is now dead. What is the duty of the district attorney's office under their constitutional oath? That is to bring the claim in the name of that child. That child's name is Cyrus Carmack-Belton. And you notice they do not show his face at all. But guess what we're going to do today? Because we're going to get this out of our system. We got to get back to business. And hopefully somebody take care of that matter immediately. Tears should be cleaned, wiped, should be straight now. Get focused. Take care of that. Let me make sure I got the name spelled right. Cyrus Carmack-Belton. All right, here you go. Let me pull it up first. Cyrus Carmack-Belton. All right, here we go. Let's pull him up. All right, so this is the young man right here. So that's him. That's his mom. And it says, family joins Harlem rally after Rick Chow acquittal. Harlem rally. Rallies. Right? That's him. That's the young man right there. That's him right there. So, under the circumstances, exactly. There's cameras everywhere now. They have America quickly, not quickly. They got America completely surveyed. Every light, there's cameras. They got cameras in the post. They got cameras on every corporate office, building, store, wherever it is. You got a camera. You got a camera. That is what you consider being orchestrated. So, but for some reason, on the other side of the coin, somebody goes to prison. And based on what we just saw, went to prison without complete evidence being presented of who these people are, because there's more that it could be talked about. But what the brother said in that thing, because I didn't want to play too much of the brother's video, but what the brother said is that when even the part where they looked at the camera, looked at the video, they said he was surrounded. It wasn't just one boy. It was 4, 2 in front, 2 on the perimeters, right there on top of me. Dane said, "Yep, yep, that's what the other girl said," because he kept saying, "Yep, she's saying the same thing what the other girl said." So they said, "Well, they probably got their story straight or whatever." Man, who cares? But I doubt it. Why is he over there at their little thing over there, their little tent? Usually that's what they do with track meets. They have like a little awning and stuff like that, protect them from the shade, or if it's raining or whatever. He went over there, and so you telling me he went over there to go start a fight so he could jab him? And under the circumstances, this is Texas. I mean, people are born with a gun in their hand, a knife, a utility knife, hunting and doing all that. That's Texas. You can do that in Texas. Can't do that in California. You can't do that in certain places in New York. But most of the time, in what you would consider be Midwest, Mid-East area, you talking about the South, Mid, Central, South, you can carry a knife on your hip, a nice one, just as long as it's visual, and you can carry a gun. You can walk in the store with a shotgun. People in Texas, they walk in the store with a gun on their hip. Oh, it's at a store. It's at a track meet. But at the same time, they're saying what the boy had in his hand was a mechanism to clean cleats. I don't know. But this is what everybody's saying. So, 2 sides of the same coin. Got the same result. The same result is what the interests of the state of South Carolina and the state of Texas wanted, right? Just like the young lady said, right? Just like the one lady said here.
Your Honor, but I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office by doing your duty under the Constitution. Okay?
Mr. Thor, I'm gonna have to come back to your case because I have all these other cases, and I'll take all the time in the world to do because you see you Aton today.
Your Honor, I just motioned for dismissal because if this is a criminal jurisdiction, as you're claiming, I need to see a verified complaint and I need from the injured party, and I have to have an opportunity to face my accuser, as you mentioned at the beginning of this entire hearing. So who is the injured party? That's the question. Who's the injured party? Why am I here? I don't understand why I'm here.
Oh, we got to go back a little bit more.
Set a trial date. Answering these questions with anything other than must always.
Your Honor, but I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office by doing your duty under the Constitution. Okay?
Mr. Thor, I'm going to have to come back to your case because I have all these other cases and I'll take all the time in the world to do.
Okay.
You're at attack.
No. So we just need to show, were you able to cure your license with the DMV or you don't know?
Your Honor, I need to get these other questions answered. I need to know what the jurisdiction is, and I need to know also who the injured party is. The nature and cause of this. I need to know who the injured party is.
Okay.
I need to know who's bringing the claim.
How about, okay, the state is, so here's. Okay.
I need to know who's bringing the claim.
How about, okay, the state.
Right there. Who's bringing the claim? The state is.
It's getting.
The state is. So, if the state is bringing the claim, then how it's going to go is the way the state wants it to go. And who do they bring forward to represent the state? Who is it? Who is it?
Your Honor, I just motioned for dismissal because if this is a criminal jurisdiction, as you're claiming, I need to see a verified complaint and I need from the injured party, and I have to have an opportunity to face my accuser, as you mentioned at the beginning of this entire hearing. So who is the injured party? That's the question. Who's the injured party? Why am I here? I don't understand why I'm here.
You paid $440.32.
Yes, that's what he's paid up to the.
Who was that talking? That's the DA. And she said, he paid $448.32? Yeah, he did. Wow. You see what I'm saying? She's up there doing her own little thing, and he's sitting there quiet until he got to the point where she said, oh, the state is. And then from that point, he had to come in and say he paid that. Whether he did or not, who knows? But I know he said that. That meant that whatever he said and the full approach to the court and to that judge was payment. If you don't have a claim, you can't enforce payment on me. If you're not a real party in interest, you can't enforce claim on me. And if I don't give you jurisdiction, you can't enforce a claim on me. And you can't enforce or force jurisdiction on me. See, but then you get these people. These people. Right? And then you get, right? And then we got into the other situation. I took Dane's stuff off. You see what I'm saying? Hold on. Let's see if we can get a picture of that too. Hold on. Let me just set up a whole nother one. Let's see. Carmello-Anthony, attorney. Picture. Can I get a picture? Images. I mean, the boy shot. Boy's dressed good, everything. This can't. Who's his attorney? I just want a face. This guy. So, you got these people. Red tie. Right? We got these people. You got these people that are cosplaying, right? Let me not use cosplaying. Nope. Scratch, delete. You got people on the media delivering a message right in front of your face. Delivering a message, a complete message. And if you don't understand what that message is, let me try to do it in 10 words or less. We do what we want. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. And more than 10 words. If you don't know better, we're just going to run shop on you. And we'll dictate the program as it is. So, now I'm not here to gaslight anybody or do anything. I don't do provocateur stuff, because at the same time, people are like, well, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Why? I'm in California. Why? Because he has a whole family. He has a whole family. He has people. You have advocacy groups out there. You got 501c3s. You got churches. You got lawyers. You got all different people. That you telling me there's not nobody in Texas that would be willing to actually help him? You have nobody in Texas that will at least make sure that he has gotten full due process before sentencing. I mean, they did that quick. That was quick. How they got him in that situation immediately. Now, they had already shaved his locks off. Who does that? He ain't convicted yet. You keep him as is. You don't touch him in any form of fashion. You don't change his look or nothing until he is actually convicted. And even then, why are you cutting his hair? Why do you got him in sackcloth? You see what I'm saying? It's just all this stuff that's just going in my mind. Like, this is wild. Don't make any sense to me at all. And what people need to stop doing is doing all this mightier than thou type shit. Like, you actually gonna do something. You're not gonna do nothing. I bet not hear no black man or black woman say nothing about nothing if they ain't doing nothing about that. You got the power to do it. If you're talking like you got some power, you better do something about it. If you can't do nothing about it, you better shut up, boy. Just the way it is. It's the way it is. Better shut up. Because the bottom line is, you can't say nothing because the same thing might happen to you. Right? Anyway. Hey, look. Stop sharing. Look, you look at it from this whole dynamic, right? So dynamic is a clear message. There ain't no way to put no cut in it. It's a clear message, right? What's the message? We don't like you. Wish you all die. If we get an opportunity, you come within our wickets, we're going to make sure you never see the light of day. Now, there's something actually people aren't talking about, and that's the whole complex of things, if I can use that word complex, that people aren't really paying attention to. And it's one or two things. Either they scared or they scared to let people know that they don't know anything about it. Scared and don't want to do nothing about it, or they scared to let people know they can't do nothing about it. That's better. But, you know, this is Texas, South Carolina. South Carolina, people say, is like a, you know, got a big, you know, the population of black people in South Carolina is like maybe 40 to damn near 50%. That's what they say. South Carolina has a real deep history when it comes to the United States of America. Yeah. You have black codes and, you know, the South Carolina, that's when you had all them people in the late 1800s, all those so-called black people that was in legislation. And then, you know, when not the slave code, what they call the Christian codes or black codes and things like that, when all that stuff, Jim Crow, all that stuff came out, all them people lost their positions, was put out of office. It's where you go into that gerrymandering, imaginary borderlines type things. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, Texas. Hold on a second. Texas. Hold on, I'm looking for some visual effects. None. Texas. I want y'all to get a clear view because my hands is moving. Texas has a slogan. Don't mess with Texas. See what I'm saying? That's Texas. Don't mess with Texas. Now, who coined that phrase? Black people or white people? But this is Dallas. I think this is in Dallas, Texas. Somewhere around Dallas, Texas, somewhere. See what I'm saying? But you have a white judge and you have a white DA, white victims. Right? You have a state of Texas that was incorporated in 18 something. Can't remember. You have these issues where you have what you would consider to be kind of suspect. I mean, these things, they suspect, right? They suspect. You got things going on. Boom, boom. You know. And nobody's doing anything. I'm trying to find my words here with how I want to say this, but nobody's doing anything. So-called black people, talking about them. They ain't doing shit. Ain't nothing about to happen. That judge he's about to retire. He's about to do his thing. Probably might get moved up to the Supreme Court, Texas Supreme Court. He might be up there as a justice. You know. So he said, yeah, bring him my way. Let me see how many niggas I can hang. Before I get up out of here. Who is going to have the heart to challenge this situation in the way it's supposed to be challenged in Texas? Who's going to be able to do that? Right? None. Because even when they come back with the camera stuff and all that, there never was a time where subject matter jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction was challenged. I have a right to face my accusers. I have a right to be present during that grand jury. I have a right also to know who is the real party in interest. I need to know if this is civil or criminal. You say, well, shit, it's on camera. He stabbed the guy. Okay. Well, I need all of my exculpatory evidence, and don't talk to me in a guilty mind. And I want to be able to face them and depose these people. Why didn't that attorney do that? Case would have been over in seconds. Seconds. You know why? They said, boy, you know, you're going to do the right thing, right? Just want to make sure you're going to do the right thing. So this is what I mean by that's a message. That I don't care what you think Trump may be doing or the federal government is doing in regards to equal protection and suits and all that stuff. We still are here in these states and we are going to operate the way we operate. They can't get us all. Can't get us all. And as long as you come in there, you know, thinking that you're actually functioning in a lawful state, then you can continue to get guys like Carmelo-Anthony going to prison. People might say, well, he's a murderer, he's a this, he's a that. That's a mouthful. That's tough for you to say something like that. That's tough for you to say something like that, especially if you don't know all the facts. If his parents was involved in the effery and all that stuff, and they did this and they got coerced into doing something, or they was baited into doing something and they didn't know, well, shame on them. Shame on them. They cost that young man his life. And based on that, he ain't gonna last, especially if that warden is a Metcalf. He said, shit, he might be second cousins or something. I don't know. If they related, well, it's gonna be a problem. So, hey, what can you do? I look at it from the aspect of what we do here is to let people know that there's another way to go about doing it. I mean, if you're that afraid and you think that at the end of the day that harm is going to be done to you, you only got one choice. You got one choice. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to take penitentiary chances, you need to know the law. You need to know it, not understand it. You need to know it. You need to know it. That way it won't happen to you. And if you do go, you at least stood on what you know you're supposed to be standing on. And you force them to get into that situation. See what I'm saying? But this is what we're dealing with, y'all. You got a bunch of people that's going to do a lot of talking. You're like, well, yeah, you up here talking too. Yep, I am. But you learn soon enough that I'm not just talking. Well, yeah. But you got a lot of people on camera doing videos all out there screaming with megaphones. Hey. That's wrong. That's disjustice. The cameras did the videos and this, that, and the other. There ain't nothing happening. Nothing behind that. You feel me? So, what we're going to do here is I think I covered everything. And we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. All right? We'll leave it there for right now. It's Monday. You know, I'm Monday quarterbacking. I can criticize these people. Hey, I'm on the outside looking in. Everybody else is doing, why can't I do it? But hopefully you guys got something out of it. Because this is the way it is. You see what I'm saying? Come on. Two sides of the same coin. I'm going to put a link in the chat. We're going to get back to the other part where we talked about that Title 26, 856E. Then we're done with this. We're done with this. Those children are their mothers and fathers' responsibility. And if nothing comes out of this, and that one young brother that's not here anymore, and the other brother that's going to be in prison for the rest of his young and middle adult life, nothing comes about that, and you know what I'm saying? They failed. And that came from me. They failed. So, here we go. Let's see. Boom. Nope. Copy. We're going to keep this quick, y'all. We ain't going to be up here all day. So, see, we on what? We on 3 hours. Never mind. Nope. No link. We're done. All right. Just for Monday. Hey, peace, everybody. Hey, when the music is over, you already know what time it is. It's over. Yeah, let me keep talking. Silence is no good. Yeah, man. We'll make that happen. I didn't say okay. Now, one time I'm going to say, okay. Got it? Right. Trying to stop that. Yeah. As soon as I said that, I said, all right. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I am trying to keep it. I want to go like, want it to float. I haven't done presentations in a long time, but I'm coming along with it. Coming along with it. Coming along with it. Yep. But like I said, when it's over, about to get it in. Bam.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we should have to sit around and wait for
all of your assets, you have to protect it. Just set your trust up, come get your status corrected. Yeah, you know we moving more than mountains. Fuck your school, fuck your voting system, fuck your water fountains. Melanin, I know you heard of me. You can never murder me. I want that gold you owe me now and gold from 1933. I want y'all to stand on all of the treaties that you sold to me. Cause we was already here, y'all came on a boat to me. And know this God-given land we all holding feet. Simple, absolute gratitude, your majesty. I shy not in my straw man, you not controlling me. Certified, signed, sealed, stamped by the notary. Don't try to lie to my face like you ain't just a colonist who tricked us with contracts, but you fail to acknowledge it. And history books of fertilizer, one big pile of shit. Acting like you freed us from slavery, but ain't abolished it. The plantation just got renovated. Driver's license and passports are the new slave papers. How they foreclosing on the ones they gave acres. We allowed them entry, even trusted them as neighbors. They took everything from us and made us ask for favors. And posed as the only helping hand that's there to save us. Boycott, don't try to keep up with the fad. Cause the money that we save, the properties that we rehab. Monopoly with the fad. Tears don't fall from my eyes. Cause they see our what, but they don't see our why. You was born in June, but I only seen July. Influenced by bad spirits like a DUI. You ain't do no estate planning, but you think you fly. Now we gon' need 3 fish fries to see you die. We the revolt, boy, don't play with me. The time is now, this royalty over slavery. Damn.
Don't move it.
I'm the coach, quotes coded in oath with a ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bark of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit back, room facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punks. Bracket your funds, I'm stacking in chunks. Reacting to acid, you're begging to punch. Sometimes my community hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message. Embedded in pressure, sobbing living. I'm private with it, no corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready, great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper, land patent stamped and sacred. Since my campaign greater, I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace of the raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on sovereign soil. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss if you're trying to employ it.
Clutch, baby, infinite.